Good morning. My name is M. Ram Prasad. I'm botany lecturer working with Excellency College, Madhapur and Uttar branch. Right. In today's class, we are going to see this Krebs cycle in the chapter respiration. And in this, I'm going to introduce like certain things which are concerned to this, the NEET level, means how the questions are going to be asked in that Krebs cycle and the importance of the Krebs cycle in NEET examination. Right. Thanks. Please concentrate here. A Krebs cycle, the entire biochemical reaction of the Krebs cycle was traced out by Krebs, the famous biochemist. Now, this Krebs cycle, the reactions that are going to take place in mitochondria, Now, we know that a glycolysis is a pathway which is a common for both aerobe as well as anaerobe. And that glycolysis, it takes place in cytoplasm of a cell. Now, during the process of this glycolysis, the glucose undergoes first a partial oxidation, and it has gives an end product that is what we are calling as pyruvic acid. Right. Now, this glucose is a six carbon skeleton, and the pyruvic acid is a 3-carbon skeleton. So we are going to obtain the number of pyruvic acids are 2 in number. So we are going to obtain the 2 moles of here the pyruvic acid are obtained. This pyruvic acid is a 3-carbon keto acid. It is 3-carbon. It is a keto, 2-keto organic acid, pyruvic acid. Now, the further breakdown of this pyruvic acid, the further oxidation of this pyruvic acid that takes place in mitochondrial matrix. So, glycolysis is a common pathway for both aerobic organisms as well as anaerobic organisms. But this pyruvic acid, the further oxidation, the further breakdown into carbon dioxide and water molecule that takes place in mitochondria. So the entire biochemical reaction, like how the breakdown of this pyruvic acid into like acetyl CoA, and the acetyl CoA that combines with OA and the formation of the citric acid. Now, all these biochemical reactions that comes under this pathway called as Krebs cycle. Right. Now, while entering into this Krebs cycle, we have to go with this into the link reaction, where the pyruvic acid is being converted into acetyl CoA. Right. So here, in the next step here, that is the pyruvic acid is converted into acetyl CoA. Right. So here in this reaction, the pyruvic acid is conversion into acetyl CoA. This reaction has been called as the link reaction. This reaction is called the link reaction. This link reaction also takes place in mitochondria. Now, the enzyme which has been involved in this process, where the conversion of pyruvic acid into acetyl CoA, it takes place in mitochondria. Now, the enzyme is involved in this process is been called as pyruvic dehydrogenase. The enzyme has been called as pyruvic dehydrogenase enzyme. This enzyme is a complex enzyme. Now, altogether, this pyruvic dehydrogenase enzyme complex, for its activity, it requires cofactors. Now, these cofactors, which includes are NAD, FAD, magnesium, TPP, means thymine pyrophosphate, lipoic acid, and CoA. So all these 6 cofactors which are been required in the conversion of this pyruvic acid into acetyl CoA, this enzyme requires all these cofactors. Now, during this process of this reaction, the pyruvic acid has been converted into acetyl CoA. So this reaction is an example of oxidative decarboxylation. So the conversion of pyruvic acid into acetyl-CoA is an example of oxidative decarboxylation. Means at the same time the decarboxylation, at the same time NAD is been converted into NADH2. So here this pyruvic acid, here it has been converted into acetyl-CoA. Pyruvic acid is a 3-carbon organic acid. This pyruvic acid has been converted into acetyl-CoA, which is a 2-carbon compound. So here 1 carbon from pyruvic acid has been lost in the form of carbon dioxide. So during this reaction, NAD has been converted into NADH2. Right? So this NADH2 formation, at the same time the carbon dioxide formation has been observed here. So this reaction, the conversion of pyruvic acid into acetyl-CoA, is an example of oxidative decarboxylation reaction. This reaction is an example of what here? Oxidative decarboxylation reaction. Right? So the product of Lie reaction, acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA is a how many carbon compound? 2-carbon compound. Now this acetyl-CoA now enters into the pathway called as Krebs cycle. Right? Now an important enzyme in the conversion of this pyruvic acid into acetyl-CoA. What is that enzyme? Pyruvic dehydrogenase. It's a complex enzyme, and this complex enzyme for its activity is required for factors such as NAD, FAD, magnesium, lipoic acid, TPP is been called thymine pyrophosphate, and coenzyme A. Now with the help of this, all these things, this pyruvic acid, and it is converted into acetyl-CoA. Now the acetyl-CoA, now it combines with OAA and form the first stable compound that is called citric acid. So now it enters into a pathway called as Krebs cycle. Now let's start here the Krebs cycle pathway. Now, the first reaction in this Krebs cycle is the condensation reaction, in which oxaloacetic acid, OAA, oxaloacetic acid is a 4-carbon dicarboxylic acid. It's a 4-carbon dicarboxylic acid. This OAA combines with acetyl-CoA. This acetyl-CoA is a 2-carbon compound. So here OAA and 2-carbon acetyl-CoA together undergoes for a reaction called as condensation reaction. Condensation, and the enzyme involved in this process is called citric synthetase. The enzyme is been called as citric synthetase enzyme, right? And now it gives a first stable compound that is being called citric acid. Citric acid. Now this Krebs cycle is otherwise been called as citric acid cycle or tricarboxylic acid cycle, because this reaction in this Krebs cycle, the first stable compound is citric acid, which is a tricarboxylic acid, and the number of carbon atoms in this compound citric acid is 6 carbon. So this is the first stable compound in this pathway of this is citric acid, and which is a 6-carbon tricarboxylic acid. 6-carbon tricarboxylic acid, which is called citric acid. So the citric acid is now converted into cis-econic acid, isocitric acid, by the enzyme called aconitase. So citric acid has been converted into cis-econic acid, and it has been again converted into isocitric acid. Cis-econic acid, and one more intermediate compound is called isocitric acid. Now, the enzyme which has been involved in this process, which converts the citric acid into cis-econic acid and isocitric acid, the enzyme has been called as aconitase. Aconitase is an enzyme. In both the reactions, aconitase has been involved in this activity, where the citric acid has been converted into cis-econic acid. The enzyme is aconitase, and the same enzyme has been involved in the conversion of cis-econic acid into isocitric acid. Now, citric acid is a 6-carbon compound. Cis-econic acid is also a 6-carbon compound. Isocitric acid is also a 6-carbon organic acid. Now, this is a tricarboxylic acid altogether. This isocitric acid, now it has been converted into oxalosuccinic acid. It has been converted into oxalosuccinic acid, and this oxalosuccinic acid is also a 6-carbon tricarboxylic acid. So this is also a 6-carbon tricarboxylic acid compound. So in this reaction, the citric acid has been converted into cis-econitic acid, and later converted into isocitric acid, and later converted into oxalosuccinic acid. Now, when you look at this, the citric acid conversion into cis-econitic acid, this reaction is an example for dehydration, and the conversion of cis-econitic acid into isocitric acid, this reaction is an example of hydration reaction. Hydration reaction. In the first case of this reaction, water molecule has been removed. In the second, the water molecule has been added. So both citric acid, isocitric acid, both of them are isomeric compounds. Isomers. But this isocitric acid is now converted into oxalosuccinic acid. Now, the conversion of isocitric acid into oxalosuccinic acid, this reaction is an example of oxidation reaction, oxidation reduction type of reaction. Now, in this reaction, NAD molecule, NAD has been converted into NADH2. NAD has been converted into NADH2. Now, in this reaction, isocitric acid converts into oxalosuccinic acid. The enzyme has been called isocitric dehydrogenase enzyme. The enzyme involved in this reaction is isocitric dehydrogenase is the enzyme. Isocitric dehydrogenase. Now, isocitric acid, oxalosuccinic acid, citric acid, isocitric acid, all these are 6-carbon tricarboxylic acid compounds. Right? This oxalosuccinic acid, now it converts into alpha ketoglutarate acid. Alpha ketoglutarate acid. Now, this is a 5-carbon organic acid. This is a 5-carbon intermediate of the citric acid cycle. This is a 5-carbon dicarboxylic acid, not a tricarboxylic acid. This is a first dicarboxylic acid, alpha ketoglutarate acid. This is a 5-carbon compound. This alpha ketoglutarate acid is a 5-carbon, and it has been obtained from the 6-carbon oxalosuccinic acid by a process called as decarboxylation process. Decarboxylation means a removal of the carbon in the form of carbon dioxide. Decarboxylation. So here, alpha ketoglutarate acid is now converted into succinyl CoA. It is converted into succinyl CoA. Succinyl CoA. Now, in this reaction, alpha ketoglutarate acid is converted into succinyl CoA. A succinyl CoA is a 4-carbon organic compound. Succinyl CoA in this reaction, this 5-carbon is been converted into 4-carbon by a process called as decarboxylation. And again, in this reaction, NAD is been converted into NADH2. NAD is been converted into NADH2. And the enzyme involved in this process is alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase is an enzyme. So here, this is a reaction of this oxidative reductive type of, means oxidation reduction type of reaction. Now, the reactions which are being catalyzed by, like oxidation reduction type of reactions. Now, the enzyme, it belongs to class 1 of the enzyme classification. Now, when you look into this, the enzyme classification, we got 6 classes of the enzyme. Class 1, oxidoreductase type. Class 2, transferases type. Class 3, hydrolases. Class 4, lyases. Class 5, isomerases. Class 6, ligases. Like 6 different types of the enzyme classes out there. Now, this type of the reaction is an example of oxidoreductive type. It belongs to classes of the enzyme class 1. Right? So here, alpha ketoglutarate acid is being converted into succinyl CoA. This reaction is an example of this oxidative decarboxylation reaction. This is an example of oxidative decarboxylation. Means simultaneously, NAD is been reduced into NADH2. At the same time, the CO2 formation has been observed. So this reaction is an example of oxidative decarboxylation reaction. Now, in the first reaction, the conversion of the pyruvic acid into acetyl-CoA, that is called link reaction, is also an example of oxidative decarboxylation reaction. It is also an example of the oxidative decarboxylation reaction. And inside the Krebs cycle, this is the first oxidative decarboxylation. This is a oxidative decarboxylation inside the Krebs cycle. Right? Now, the succinyl-CoA, now it has been converted into succinic acid. It has been converted into a succinic acid. Now, this succinyl-CoA is a high energy compound, is a high energy biomolecule, the succinyl-CoA. Now, whenever a high energy compound undergoes for a breakdown or on oxidative breakdown, it releases an energy. It releases an energy. That released energy is sufficient for the formation of ATP molecule. So here, succinyl-CoA is a high energy compound, and upon its oxidation of the succinyl-CoA, it releases succinic acid, and the CoA gets be separated from this. So the energy which has been released in that process, it helps to combine ADP and inorganic phosphate and to form ATP molecule. So this is a direct ATP which has been formed in this reaction. And this ATP is a direct ATP. It has been called the substrate level phosphorylation reaction. It is called the substrate level phosphorylation reaction. It is a direct ATP which has been obtained from high energy compound called succinyl-CoA. Now the enzyme which has been involved in this process is called succinyl thiokinase enzyme. The enzyme involved in this process is called succinyl thiokinase is an enzyme. Now this enzyme which cleaves succinyl-CoA into succinic acid, and the coenzyme A has been released out. So during that process, energy is been released here. That released energy helps to couple ADP and inorganic phosphate to form ATP. This is called copulation reaction, substrate level phosphorylation. This is a direct ATP formation inside the Krebs cycle. Now this succinic acid later converted into fumaric acid, and it is converted again to malic acid, and finally it has been converted into oxaloacetic acid. Like that, the succinic acid, fumaric acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid, all these are the intermediate compounds of the Krebs cycle, which are 4-carbon dicarboxylic acid, So when you look at this in the cycle, the citric acid, cis-aconitic acid, isocitric acid, oxalosuccinic acid, all these are 6-carbon tricarboxylic acid. The only 5-carbon compound is alpha-ketoglutarate acid, and the 4-carbon intermediate compounds are here dicarboxylic acid, especially succinic acid, fumaric acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid. Succinyl-CoA is a high energy substrate molecule. Right now, the succinic acid has been converted into fumaric acid, an enzyme called succinic dehydrogenase enzyme. This is called succinic dehydrogenase. In this reaction, FAD has been converted into FADH2. In this reaction, FAD has been converted into FADH2. Succinic dehydrogenase is an enzyme which helps in the conversion of succinic acid into fumaric acid. Fumaric acid is a dicarboxylic acid, unsaturated one. Succinic acid conversion to fumaric acid. The enzyme is called succinic dehydrogenase. And then fumaric acid conversion to malic acid. The enzyme has been called fumarase. So this fumarase enzyme, which helps in the conversion of this fumaric acid into malic acid. So this reaction is called hydration. And after that, malic acid conversion into oxaloacetic acid, again, oxidation reaction. The enzyme involved in this process is called malic dehydrogenase. In this reaction, NAD has been converted into NADH2. Right? So during this pathway of this Krebs cycle, we are going to obtain the intermediate compounds. The intermediate compounds such as citric acid, cis-aconitic acid, isocitric acid, oxalosuccinic acid, then alpha ketoglutaric acid, succinyl-CoA, succinic acid, fumaric acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid, like the intermediate compounds which have been formed during this pathway, they enter into different biochemical pathways and they may be involved in the synthesis of the other important useful compounds. They may be involved in the synthesis of the amino acids. They may be involved in the synthesis of terpenoids, alkaloids, like different type of bioactive compounds or the different type of organic compounds they are going to form from the intermediates which have been formed during in the citric acid cycle. But this is a general pathway, and here the complete oxidation of the pyruvic acid into acetyl-CoA, and that acetyl-CoA is a connecting link molecule between glycolysis, so the Krebs cycle, and first the complete oxidation of this acetyl-CoA that has given here into 3 NADH2, 1 FADH2, and 2 carbon dioxide molecules are being released out during this process. Right? Now this again in a simplified manner, this Krebs cycle again in a simplified manner, again in brief. So here, first in this reaction, the first OAA, it combines with acetyl-CoA and it forms the first stable compound called citric acid. Then it has been converted into cis-aconitic acid. Then it is converted into isocitric acid. Then it has been converted into oxalosuccinic acid. Then it has been converted into alpha ketoglutaric acid, and then converted into succinyl-CoA, and then converted into succinic acid, and then fumaric acid, and then malic acid, and finally into oxaloacetic acid. Right? So when you look into this, is the Krebs cycle. Right? Now this is a 2-carbon compound, and this is a 4-carbon compound. And condensation, it has given the first stable compound called citric acid, which is a 6-carbon tricarboxylic acid. Right? Now this citric acid now again converted into cis-aconitic acid, isocitric acid, oxalosuccinic acid. All these are the 6-carbon compounds. All these are the 6-carbon compounds. Isocitric acid conversion to oxalosuccinic acid, and reaction in this NAD is been converted into NADH2. Right? So this is the oxidation reaction 1. This is the oxidation reaction 1. Now oxalosuccinic acid has been converted into alpha ketoglutaric acid. In this reaction, 1 carbon dioxide, means 1 carbon in the form of carbon dioxide is been lost in this reaction. This reaction is an example of decarboxylation. Now acetyl-CoA is a 2-carbon compound, means 1 carbon of that acetyl-CoA is lost in the form of carbon dioxide. Means how many carbon dioxide molecules are, how many carbon molecules are left here? Again, only 1. That carbon dioxide has been lost here where in this reaction, in the conversion of this alpha ketoglutaric acid into succinyl-CoA. This reaction is an example of oxidative decarboxylation. In this reaction, the carbon dioxide has been lost. At the same time, NAD has been converted into NADH2. So this is the second decarboxylation, but this is oxidative decarboxylation reaction, remember. Then the succinyl-CoA, here ADP and inorganic phosphate, it forms ATP. And this is the direct ATP which is going to form from an enzyme called succinyl thiokinase. This reaction is called cleavage reaction. Cleavage. It's a breakdown. Succinyl-CoA is a high energy compound. And later the succinic acid has been converted into fumaric acid. In this reaction, FAD has been converted into FADH2. This is again the oxidation reaction. So this is oxidation 1, and this is oxidation reaction. This is 2, and this is oxidation reaction 3. And fumaric acid into malic acid into oxaloacetic acid. NAD is been converted into NADH2. Right now, in one turn of the Krebs cycle, in one turn of the Krebs cycle, 3 NADH2, 1 FADH2 is going to be off, and 2 carbon dioxide molecules have been lost in the form of during in decarboxylation reaction. Right? Now, this is a pathway of the Krebs cycle. Right? Now, in NEET examination on the Krebs cycle, the examiners are going to ask the questions like in this manner. Now, the questions are based on what is a connecting link molecule between glycolysis and the Krebs cycle. The connecting link or the molecule which connects between the glycolysis to the Krebs cycle. What is that? Acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA is how many carbon compounds? It's a 2 carbon compound. Now, in one of the examination, like 2 years NEET examination, it was asked the question like RUBP. RUBP is a how many carbon compound? RUBP is a 5 carbon ketose sugar. Like acetyl-CoA is a 2 carbon compound possessing thio group in its structure, acetyl-CoA. Now, the questions in the NEET examination again, what are the 6 carbon compounds? How many 6 carbon compounds are going to be obtained? How many 6 carbon intermediates are going to obtain during this citric acid cycle? How many 6 carbon intermediates are going to obtain? Friends, the 6 carbon intermediates are 4 in number. One is citric acid, the other is cis-aconitic acid, the other is isocitric acid, the other is oxalosuccinic acid. So the number of 6 carbon tricarboxylic acids are 4 in number. Now, the other question, what is the first stable compound of this CCA cycle or Krebs cycle? Your answer is citric acid. Citric acid. How many carbon skeleton it is? 6 carbon skeleton. It's a tricarboxylic acid, citric acid. Now, the most common type of repeated question in the NEET examination, what is the 5 carbon intermediate of the citric acid cycle? The 5 carbon intermediate of the citric acid cycle is alpha ketoglutaric acid. Alpha ketoglutaric acid is a 5 carbon dicarboxylic acid, and again it is the first dicarboxylic acid, alpha ketoglutaric acid. The first, and again sometimes the first means the 5 carbon intermediate of the citric acid cycle has been formed from oxalosuccinic acid by a process called, what is the process? It is called decarboxylation process. Decarboxylation. Now, in many of the NEET examination, like it was asked like, what is the high energy molecule in this citric acid cycle? What is the high energy intermediate compound in the citric acid cycle? What is that? It is succinyl-CoA. Succinyl-CoA is a high energy compound. And this succinyl-CoA, upon its oxidation, it releases high amount of energy. That released energy helps in coupling ADP and inorganic phosphate to form ATP, which has been called direct ATP. It is otherwise been called substrate level phosphorylation. Now, the succinyl-CoA, the next question is, the succinyl-CoA undergoes for a cleavage or breakdown. Cleavage or breakdown in the presence of enzyme. What is that? Succinyl thiokinase, which helps in cleavage, breakdown of the succinyl-CoA into succinic acid, and the coenzyme J is released out. Now the enzyme which has been bound to the inner membrane of the mitochondria, the enzyme which has been bound or which has been associated with the inner membrane of the mitochondria, it is called succinic dehydrogenase enzyme, which helps in this reaction where the conversion of the succinic acid into fumaric acid. In that reaction, the enzyme is being called succinic dehydrogenase, which converts the succinic acid into fumaric acid. In that reaction, FAD is then converted into FADH2. Right? Now, how many dicarboxylic acids are going to form during in this Krebs cycle? One more question like this. How many dicarboxylic acids are going to form? The number of dicarboxylic acids which are going to form during a citric acid cycle are: one is succinic acid, fumaric acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid. The number of dicarboxylic acids are 4 in number. They are going to form during a citric acid cycle. Now again, during in this reaction in the citric acid cycle, oxidative decarboxylation reaction takes place. Oxidative decarboxylation reaction takes place. How many number of oxidative decarboxylation reactions are going to take place in this citric acid cycle? How many number of oxidative decarboxylation reactions are going to take place in citric acid cycle? How many? Your answer should be only 1. Now, in the link reaction, the pyruvic acid conversion to acetyl CoA is an example for oxidative decarboxylation, but it is not the part of the Krebs cycle. Inside the Krebs cycle, only one oxidative decarboxylation reaction, that is in this conversion of this alpha ketoglutarate acid into succinyl CoA. This reaction is an example of this. What here? This reaction is an example of oxidative decarboxylation reaction. Now, again, in this reactions of this, the succinic acid, fumaric acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid, all these are 4-carbon dicarboxylic acid. Very, very important. Now, what is the last product of this TCA cycle? What is the starting product of this TCA cycle? The last product of the TCA cycle is oxaloacetic acid, or Krebs cycle is oxaloacetic acid. What is the first product of this Krebs cycle? The first product of this Krebs cycle is citric acid. The last product is oxaloacetic acid. The first product is citric acid. Right? Now, enzyme, the next question is the enzyme which helps in both dehydration as well as hydration reaction. During in citric acid cycle, the enzyme which helps in both dehydration as well as hydration reaction, it is aconitase. Aconitase is an enzyme which converts the citric acid into cis aconitic acid and as well as cis aconitic acid into isocitric acid. In this conversion, aconitase helps in that process. Right? So the number of oxidation reactions which takes place inside the Krebs cycle, the number of oxidation reduction type of reactions is altogether 4 in number. 4. 3 which helps in the formation of NADH2 and 1 which helps in the formation of FADH2. So altogether, for every 1 turn of this Krebs cycle, in this reaction we are going to obtain 3 NADH2, 1 FADH2 and again 1 direct ATP which are going to obtain during this process. Now again, the questions are like that. During in this citric acid cycle, at every time, how many acetyl CoA enters into the pathway? During in this citric acid cycle, at every time, how many acetyl CoA are enters into the pathway? How many acetyl CoAs? At every time, 1 acetyl CoA enters into the pathway, but not more than that. Even though if a cell is contains excess amount of this acetyl CoA, but every time only 1 acetyl CoA enters into pathway. Every time an acetyl CoA combines with an intermediate called oxaloacetic acid and form the first stable compound called citric acid in this form. So that's why OAA you can consider as a last product, and citric acid you can consider as the first product of this reaction. Right? So all these biochemical reactions of the Krebs cycle, where does it take place? It takes place in mitochondrial matrix. Where does it take place? It takes place in mitochondrial matrix. Now, the other type of the questions are like that. Pyruvic acid, upon its complete oxidation, means it releases what here? It releases carbon dioxide and water. Now, this is what we are calling as aerobic respiration. But in examination, the question is like that. If pyruvic acid enters in incompletely oxidation or in an incomplete oxidation process, that is called in a fermentation, the pyruvic acid has been converted into the other product. It may be converted into ethanol, it may be converted into acid. It depends upon the type of microbe which has been involved in that process. Now here, the pyruvic acid and the conversion of pyruvic acid into carbon dioxide and water, and again the formation of the ethanol, it depends upon the condition. For example, the pyruvic acid under the complete availability of the conditions, means availability of this oxygen under aerobic condition, this pyruvic acid has been converted into like acetyl CoA, and it enters into pathway called as Krebs cycle, and again it forms what here? It forms 3 NADH2 and 1 FADH2 and 1 direct ATP are going to form in this reaction. So 2 carbon dioxide molecules are going to be released. Now this is under the conditions of under aerobic condition. But the same pyruvic acid under anaerobic condition, means this pyruvic acid under anaerobic condition. This is the conditions of what here? This is the conditions of this aerobic condition, means in the presence of oxygen, availability of this oxygen. But under anaerobic condition, the same pyruvic acid, anaerobic condition, the same pyruvic acid, the end product may be ethanol, or it may be lactic acid, or it may be the other compounds are going to form. So that pyruvic acid, it undergoes for incomplete oxidation, and that may give rise to the other compounds such as ethanol, lactic acid, and this is what we are calling as fermentation. And again, the type of the end product which is formed during this process, it depends upon the type of the microbe which has been involved in that fermentation process. So under aerobic condition, the pyruvic acid undergoes for a complete oxidation and forms water and carbon dioxide. But if a pyruvic acid under the conditions are anaerobic, it is going to produce the ethanol, lactic acid, and other compounds. And again, the type of the end product depends upon the type of the microbe which has been involved in that fermentation process. Right? So in majority of the times in NEET examination, the questions are based on the citric acid cycle. If an acetyl CoA enters into a pathway of Krebs cycle, how many NADH2 are going to obtain? For every 1 acetyl CoA enters into a pathway of citric acid cycle, how many NADH2 are going to obtain? Your answer is 3 NADH2 are going to obtain. And 1 FADH2 is going to obtain. And 1 ATP, direct ATP is going to obtain. So in the same manner, every time, every turn, 1 acetyl CoA enters into pathway, but not more than. Even though available acetyl CoA is there, but every 1 turn of this acetyl CoA enters into pathway, it gives rise to in this manner like 3 NADH2, 1 FADH2, and 1 direct ATP, which has been called the substrate level phosphorylation reaction. Right. So again, in this pathway of this Krebs cycle, the part of this calculation, the number of ATP which are going to obtain, the number of ATP which are going to obtain. For example, acetyl-CoA under this Krebs cycle reaction, how many, like the number of direct ATP which are going to obtain. The number of direct ATPs is going to obtain for every one acetyl-CoA is only one. Remember, for every one acetyl-CoA is only one direct ATP is going to obtain in a one turn of this Krebs cycle. Now, the formed substrates like NADH2, FADH2 during an electron transport system under oxidative phosphorylation, one NADH2 molecule during an electron transport system, it is a worth of 3 ATP molecules. So this NADH2 is going to give rise to 3 ATP molecules by oxidative phosphorylation. So that's why for one acetyl-CoA, how many ATPs are going to obtain? And again, the most common repetitive question is that for every one acetyl-CoA, how many number of ATPs are going to obtain? This is most common repetitive type of question. For every one acetyl-CoA, how many number of ATPs are going to obtain by oxidative phosphorylation? Or you can say the total ATP. Now, for one acetyl-CoA, it is going to produce 3 NADH2, 1 FADH2, and 1 direct ATP is going to obtain. Right, in the Krebs cycle. Now, this NADH2 and FADH2, when they enters into a pathway called electron transport system, in the process called oxidative phosphorylation, one NADH2 is a worth of 3 ATP. So here, 3 NADH2 means 3 NADH2 means 3, 1 NADH2, it is 3. So here, 3 into 3, which is equal to 9 ATP. Now again, we are going to obtain 1 FADH2. This FADH2 is a worth of only 2 ATP. So upon oxidative phosphorylation, this FADH2 molecule is going to produce only 2 ATP. How many FADH2 are obtained here? It is only 1. FADH2 means 1 into 2, which are going to obtain these 2 ATP. Now, how many direct ATPs? The number of direct ATPs are only 1. So here, this is 1 ATP, which has been called the direct ATP. So altogether, it is 9, 10, 11, 11 plus 1, 12 ATPs are going to obtain for every one acetyl-CoA. Now, in the same manner, in this statement, the question is like this: how many number of direct ATPs are obtained per one acetyl-CoA? Direct ATP, it is only 1. Now, again, altogether, the total number of ATPs which are going to obtain from one acetyl-CoA, your answer should be 12. Now, again, the question is like in this manner: for every one acetyl-CoA, upon its complete oxidation by oxidative phosphorylation, the word oxidative phosphorylation, if it has been mentioned, then we should take into account of ATP of NADH2, FADH2 only, but not direct ATP. So we should take into account of what here? ATPs of NADH2, ATPs of FADH2 only by oxidative phosphorylation method. So altogether, the number of ATP which are been obtained by oxidative phosphorylation, how many their number? It is 11 ATPs. So it is by oxidative phosphorylation. So again, while doing the calculation part of that, we should read the statement whether the question is asked in a such a manner. Calculate the total number of ATP. Then we should take the direct ATP along that ATPs of NADH2, FADH2. The question is like that: oxidative phosphorylation. Then we should look into the ATPs of NADH2 and FADH2. Right. So this is in brief regarding this Krebs cycle. Thank you.